evening and welcome to BackChat. I'm your host, Tima Madima, proudly powered by Backtrack. I hope you guys are good. Welcome, everybody. We're going to try again. Phatutshedzo Maswanganyi is going to be joining us now. Hopefully, we will have a better connection. But welcome, everybody. Hope you guys are doing good. Let's try again. Let's see if this time around it will work. I've even moved my location to my famous red wall. Hopefully, it will favor us more. But welcome, guys. Hope you guys are excited for this one. I am. We're going to give it a go again, and we're going to get the chat going. Start chatting with him. So make sure, guys, if you have any questions or anything, put them through. We're going to try to take as many as possible. Welcome.
Are we all good? Good. Hopefully it works. I don't know. Me and my connection say it's looking good. Yeah, we're all good. Looks like we're all good.
I just hope it stays this way. I don't know. Like my side, it seems fine. I just don't know if it's your side or my side.
Let me ask the people. Ask the people if I can hear you. I would say ask the people whose connection is looking a little shaky because obviously they can see a lot better. But yeah.
Please just write in the comments there if you. Yeah, just send your comments. If you can't hear me or you're struggling with my connection or if it's Chetzo's connection, just let us know. We'll try to get it better.
Okay.
But for now, it seems all right, yeah?
Yeah, it seems fine, yeah. All good, yeah. It seems all good.
Welcome to BackChat. This evening we're chatting to Phatutshedzo Maswanganyi. You guys might know him as Shaun, Chedzo, or whatnot. But we're gonna be chatting with him now.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that. But let me first do your introduction first so that people will know exactly who we're dealing with, and then we'll take it from there, yeah?
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with us this evening, like I said, Shaun Phatutshedzo Maswanganyi. Listen up. He is the African Under-20 Championships 200-meter gold medalist, African Under-20 Championship 100-meter silver medalist, American Athletic Conference Championship 100-meter champion, Athletics American Conference Championship 200-meter champion. He is the SA Under-20 200-meter champion, SA Under-16. I like this one. People don't know this one. SA Under-16 long jump champion, as well as that's a bit of a surprise one there. SA Under-20 100-meter. This is the big one. SA Under-20 100-meter record holder, as well as this is a new one, American OTF Men's Freshman of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, Phatutshedzo Maswanganyi.
Hey, not thanks. But yeah.
Right.
I know, I'm live, I'm awake. Hey, it's raining today. I don't know. We're supposed to do like relay exchanges and stuff, but we haven't been able to for 2 days now because it's been raining. Houston weather, it's weird. It'll be raining today, then tomorrow sunny, like nothing ever happened, then the next day cold, but for the most part, it's been a good experience this side, it's really been good. Like as I was saying, it's been a long season so far. I started running in January with the indoor season, and then run about mid-March. Obviously, we called the indoor season ended, and then we started running outdoors. And outdoors, it's also been kind of a lengthy season, but I've managed myself pretty well. I don't feel any race fatigue because every meet I went into, I didn't really go into every meet like planning to double or running myself in and out. So for the most part, my load management, I've really been able to manage that because a lot of people always ask, they always say there's that stigma around, like in America, they run you a lot and you're going to end up becoming race fatigue, throughout the end of the season. But it's really about your relationship with your coach and your coach knowing your body and knowing what you need and what you don't need. So for the most part, I'm not feeling race fatigue. I feel ready to enter the championship season. I already had a championship just 2 weeks ago, and we're going into the NCAA preliminary round within the next 2 days, really. So I leave tomorrow to go run in Texas A&M, which is like down here in College Station. It's probably like 2 hours away from my university. And that's pretty much the qualifiers. It's going to serve as the qualifier for nationals. So I think you need to become top 12. You need to be top 12 in regions, regionals to be able to make it in the 100 and 200. And then relays, I'm not sure. I think it's probably top 8 or top 12 as well,
Yeah.
because I know at nationals we're gonna have like qualifying rounds and then a final as well. So I'm looking forward to that. So far, it's looking very good.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, it's been exciting. Like, when you left, we did that whole coming to America, because
Mm.
we were sending our young prince out to America.
Yeah.
We were sending our young prince, you just broke the SA record, you were on fire, and we said, you know what, America, we present to you, Phatutshedzo, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And man, it's been so amazing to watch. When it comes to the way you've controlled yourself, the way you've adapted. I mean, I think that's the most important thing. You can adapt well to any situation, man. That just shows the quality and how dangerous you are. You know what I mean? So big
Yeah.
ups, big ups, big
I
ups.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Hey, and I think that's also the big thing you just really just mentioned right there, because one thing, it's adapting is tough. The
Mm,
thing of changing coaches, especially the transition. I won't lie, the transition between high school and leaving high school and trying to get like still trying
yeah,
to like get coaching, especially because I didn't want to go to a South African university. So obviously I was like there tags with Coach T, and just working with those couple of months, and then after that being able to still finish my SA season, although it was short. I finished it pretty well on a strong note.
yeah.
And then I was chilling between March and September. I was getting lazy, and like I remember when I came here in like September, I was out of shape. I was bad. I was way skinnier than I was. So I mean, it was like a lot to catch up, but then I was just happy that I was able to, put my pride aside. I was getting beaten in practice a lot. I was getting smashed. I was even contemplating. I'm like, am I even still fast anymore? I was like, I don't know. Yeah, like I really don't know. And like, it was such a big jump from like practice and training wise, because I never really had like workouts like 45-second runs and cross runs and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Me, I just know that when my season ended, I chilled. I did like rugby, I would play basketball, and then I kind of come into it again, run about, yeah, like September-ish, August, September-ish, I'd come back. And then after that, I'll probably be like, obviously like, 300s here, 150s, 200s, but I never really did anything like over 300 meters. And for me
Yeah,
to
yeah.
jump into a program like this where we're running 45-second runs, and then, it's new to me, I'm dying, I'm at the back, I'm just trying to tag it out. I'm trying to bring it in. I'm
Survived it.
like, I'm swimming now. My arms are just everywhere. And or like workouts like the 432, the infamous 432. If it's even on YouTube, you can search it. It's called Workout Wednesday with Houston Cougars. So it's like you run a 400 flat out, and then full recovery. You come back 15 minutes later, run a 300 flat out, full recovery, and then come back 200-meter flat out. And everyone has
Oh,
obviously check marks to hit. So for the
yeah.
most part, I remember like my first breakdown. We call it a breakdown. My first breakdown, I went like a 49 low, and then I came back. I went like a 34, and then I came back. I went like 22. I was dead. I was slow. I was like, I can't do this. But I chose to stay down. I put in the work, and I was praying for consistency, because I knew like you have to start somewhere. So I can't always just start off on a high horse. I mean, I just came from breaking the SA record, but I was thanking God I didn't let that get to my head, because there's always going to be someone faster. Yeah, that's the harsh
Yeah.
reality. You just gotta work to become number one. And then like
Yeah.
throughout the fall, the transition between like the off season and coming into in season, the transition was pretty good, and I was glad that my coaches were able to execute that with me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think big ups to them, and big ups to, I mean, your mentality as well. That African, that vendor, that Soweto raised mentality.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. I want to get to that, because I think many a times everything is about how well you're doing. But I mean, it's a journey. It's a journey.
Mm.
It's a journey. When I remember when we did that whole coming to America thing, we didn't know how quick you transition into that, but it was a matter of you getting into the process and getting that started. But yeah, we'll get into that. Let's do some shout outs. We see Christian Ham. He looks like he's from UH. He's in the building. I saw T Money was in here as well. He's a speedster as well. I'm sure you run against him that side. We actually had a crazy race against him. We won't talk about that. We're here to praise you, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I saw Dambiles in the Sipo Dambiles in the building. Cornel Fredericks, Eckhart, Potgieter, you know him, of course. Rebellious Nolo is in here. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining in. I'll try do more shout outs to more people. I just can't see. There's so many. But yeah, we'll get to that. Thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate the support.
Much love.
Your boy is here. Your boy is here. Your boy is here. Make sure to send questions if you have anything you want to ask him. I see Ryan says, you made SA proud. The job is not done. Eh? It must be you are making.
Yeah.
Making South Africa proud.
That's the plan. That's the plan. I mean, I'm still young. Just turned 20 like just a couple of months ago. So, hey, I still got a long way. Still got a long way.
Still a bambino.
I'm still in Tuana,
let's start at the beginning. So obviously, let's start with the name thing first. What are they calling you that side? Obviously, they're not even trying or even attempting to do Phatutshedzo. What do they call you that side? Is it Shaun? Is it
Shaun?
What is
it? It's Shaun. It's Shaun. Because I mean, it's crazy because like for the most part in South Africa, when I was growing up, my name was Shaun. That was actually my first name, and then when I transitioned, I started living with my dad's side of the family. I mean, stopped living with my dad's side of my family, moved to my mom's side of the family, and then they just, they vendors. So they're like, "Hey, Phatutshedzo it is, forget Shaun," So I started using Phatutshedzo again. Then when I was in grade 7, I was going into St. Albans now. Like now I'm like going to St. Albans. I still have some of my T-shirts. You'd see it say Shaun Maswanganyi. But then some teachers will be like, but no, who's that name in the shirt? I'm like, that's my name, But
that's me.
That's me. So, but for the most part, I mean, I didn't mind whichever people called me because it's more marketable for me. Shaun is simple. It's easy to like grab onto. Surname is a different ball game. You can't change surname.
Your surname is killing them, bro. Either way, you might as well throw them in the fire.
I was like,
Maswanganyi is the same.
I always say slow it down. They gotta slow it down. You gotta break it in half because when you break it in half, it's really easy. There's no special pronunciation, special syllables. Just break it down. You read it the way you see it is the way you read it is the way you say it. But for the most part. So now I go by Shaun. Part 2, like every now and then when I'm in Mzansi or like social media, I forget that's my name sometimes. I'll go and say I'm going because no one calls me that. Like no one calls me that. Whenever I hear Part 2, I'm like. Because some of my teammates be playing around. They're like, Phatu. Did I hear right? I'm like,
what?
I'm like, who's that? Like, are you guys talking to me? But like for the most part, I mean, I'm not picky about my name. I think probably that's the name I'm probably gonna coin for the longest time. It's kind of like Carl. Like Carl's name is not Carl. It's Frederick Carlton Lewis, but Carl Lewis, So it's kind of the thing. So you just gotta have a name which you're gonna be more marketable by. So I think Shaun is easy to grab on. It's easy to catch. When people think Shaun, that hopefully I come to mind. You know what I mean? So yeah.
No, absolutely. I hear what you're saying. It's definitely. But like you said, both of them are your names. I think in South Africa, it's just like I remember when you crossed the line, we were like Phatutshedzo.
That's that.
Wakanda forever.
Hey.
But okay. Jokes aside, man. But either way, I think it's cool. And I mean, you are making a name of yourself that side. And I think let's also start with your journey here from South Africa. I know we did a BackChat back then, but I mean, it feels like so much has changed. Even BackChat has changed so much since we started.
True.
So with regards to like your journey, like who is Phatutshedzo, who is Shaun Maswanganyi? Where did this journey begin, and how did it transform into you being world-class athlete? We'll get to the world-class stuff. Let's just start there. We'll come back.
So I mean, my journey started pretty much when I was growing up. Soweto. I was growing up in Soweto. I was living with my dad's side of the family, my grandmother, and my dad was a cyclist. So then for the longest part, I was, into cycling, I wanted to be like my dad. So, I was doing cycling and everything. I always knew I was fast because the school I went to, we have like inter-house things, and then like I would trap everyone, I'll be beating everyone. So I always knew I was fast. And then I
Yeah.
played cricket a lot. And then I kind of transitioned from cycling into cricket. And then for the longest part, I was like a cricket player. I was pretty good, if I do say so myself. I was like pretty good in primary school.
Yeah.
And then I almost made provincials like a couple of times, but there's politics there. So I made like I was like within like I was always in the top, like I would always make it to like the third round, and then I would just fall off. And then
Yeah. Yeah.
after that, like I went to Crawford. So Crawford didn't really have much sports. It's either soccer, cricket, or swimming. Pretty much those are only
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah.
But I mean, I used to play basketball sometimes on the courts in my free time and whatever. So then after that, but I always knew like I was fast. But I remember grade 7. Like I always think about it till today. There was like my PE teacher. So I would always go to
Yeah.
him in grade 7. I'm like, sir, so like, is there no such thing as like athletics clubs or something for nationals or whatever? Because I was clueless at the time, but I'm like, I'm beating all these guys. I was literally grade 7. I was beating all the guys in the high school. Like I was beating
Yeah.
them. Like I was blowing them out. So I'm like, I'm not training. I'm not doing anything. I'm just, I'm just like that. So like, why? Like, is there something? He was a hater. That one
Is
was
there
a
more?
hater. I wanted more, So he was a hater. So he was like, no, I'm sure those guys are just suck. You're not that good. Wada. I'm like, I sharp, yeah.
Yeah. This
I was
guy.
like, sharp. So I left him, and then I went into St. Albans, and it's crazy because looking back, I didn't want to go to St. Albans. I literally didn't want to go there. I wanted to go to JP Boys or St.
Yeah.
John's or Saints, or because I really wanted a school which was like big on rugby. But
Yeah.
at the same time, because I was such a rugby guy because my brother played like he played Craven Week for the Lions for like 2 years, and then made the like he was in the Blue Bulls high performance squad. So I was like more of a rugby guy than anything. I was skinny, but I was like fast and everything. So I just got
Pace.
the ball and dash. And then
Yeah.
grade 8 came. At grade 8 I was miserable. I was like, Mom, I don't want to be here. Take me out. She's like, I'm not. How are you down? Like you're not going anywhere. School fees. The school fees. Yeah, I'm paying. No, you're not going anywhere. You pay that deposit. Hey, I don't know even how much it was, but it was 2015. I was like, hey, yeah, she's not taking me anywhere. I better make do with this situation. So, track, and then I started like doing track. Like one restart just like that. So I was playing basketball for the whole year, and my coach would always say, "Hey, you jump so high," because I mean I was like 13, but I was dunking. So like like you jump so
Yeah.
high, so like you're scoping my talent. He's like, this guy could probably be a good jumper, like either long jump, high
Yeah.
jump, triple jump. But he was kind of scoping me in that regard. So he knew I was fast too because when the rugby came, I was top try scorer without a doubt. Like I literally walked in and I was just top try scorer. And I
Yeah.
remember he'd come to me like, no, I think you should try athletics. I'm like, yeah, coach, I'll see. Coach Yao. So Coach Yao would come to me, he'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
now I'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
He'd be like, yeah, nah, I want you to come to my thing. I'm like, yeah, now I'll see. Knowing very well I'm dodging that thing. I was not going to practice. I was like, I'll figure it out. I'll see it later. Because I was having the spotlight of basketball and rugby. Everyone just knew me as that guy. But basketball was
Yeah.
not really much of I wouldn't say it was my strongest part. I was like, I mean, I'd start some games, but like pretty much for the first, kind of year and a half, I'd be like pretty much like seventh man, sixth man, because my team was like really good. So then, yeah, and then I came in, and then we had like some inter-house like boarding houses going against each other, and pretty much, I think, yeah, that's when the school had the spotlight. Like literally, the whole school came to see because they wanted to see me. They wanted to see what I was about. So they wanted to see if
Yeah.
I'm really the
Yeah.
truth, or So like the whole school was gathered,
Yeah.
and I remember like, so now they draw back. They don't even know. A lot of people don't know. We were running on a grass track. They just drew lines. They like drew lines, like a 400-meter track. They drew lines. The curves are not equal. The stagger is not equal. Nothing. So so I mean, I was running the 200. I remember the first race was the 200. So I was running the 200, and I mean, I was running so fast, and the curve was so sharp. Literally,
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but I fell. Like I fell badly, like coming out the curve. And then obviously everyone beat me. People are laughing at me, and I was like, nah, this is personal because these people are nyatzing me. They don't know. So I shoved. The 100 came. The 100 came. I dusted everyone. Like I left them clear as daylight. I probably put like 20 meters on them in the 100. And I was running bare feet at the time, and I was on grass. I ran like 11:2. You know, that was already close to the school record. And like that's when my coach was like, okay, nah, listen, I can, you
Yeah.
know, I can make you something special. I'm like, hey, coach, I've heard that a lot in every other sport. You know, I'm not into, I'm not, you know, I'm like, it's okay, it's whatever, you know.
I've watched those
And they,
movies before, coach.
yeah, I'm like, I know this narrative, it's fine. I'm good. So we had inter high. So you know Ruben Els. Everyone should know Ruben Els. Right? That
Yeah,
guy,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
top dog, top dog. So we're racing inter high. It's a JP Boys now. We have inter high. It's a big meet. There's thousands of guys there. You know, we're watching. You know, we're also running on a cross track there, but you know, it's a big meet because like there's big dogs there. So now, it's an open field, obviously. So now I was supposed to run under 14s. They put me in the under 15 category because there was no one. The guy who was supposed to run under 15 was not there. So now I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, under 15, I should manage just fine because I was thinking, you know, I pretty much faster than 99% of my school. So I'm like, under 15, I shouldn't be much of a hassle. Sharp. So I get to the line. So now I'm there. I'm learning how to put my blocks. I have never used blocks before. My coach is teaching me how to put blocks. I'm like, hey, sharp. I land 2 feet there, 3 feet there. This is before. Now we use tape now. Now I have to make sure, you know, tape. But, you know, I was like, hey, okay. Coach Yao is there teaching me. It's like, yeah, dad, relax. It's going to be a fundraise, whatever. I mean, I didn't know who's there, who did what, who won what. So I was like, hey, I'm just here to trap these guys and go home. So sharp. Gun goes off. I'm there. First 40 meters, I'm up now. I'm up. I'm number one. I had the funniest running technique. I actually still have that video. So this is like 2015. I'm running. And then, Ruben Els comes out of nowhere. He just upright, just striding.
Yeah, you
Just
know his
striding.
form.
He passed me. With ease. He put like a 6 meter or 5 meter gap on me. I went like a 10-5 on grass. I went like like a 10-9 on. He went 10-5. I went 10-9. I put me like I was just there like yo. I crossed the finish line. I was like yo. I can't let that happen to me again. After that, next Monday, I went to the track. I started training. That's when my athletics journey began. I was like,
That's it. Big guy.
okay, yeah, I can't be getting charged like that anymore.
Shout
So
out to
yeah,
Ruben Els for serving that pie.
yeah,
You know this pie. Whether you eat it cold or you eat it warm,
it's
the
there.
pie is the pie, and everybody will get a day to eat their
Yeah,
slices. Is all I'm saying.
that's true. Well, that day changed me. I always speak about it, even on Twitter. Actually, it was funny. I was like literally tweeting about it the other day. They're like, "Who's the first guy who ever gave you a proper hiding on the track?" Like, Ruben Els, he gave it to me. Guys, they even caught it on
Yeah.
video. That video is even clear. It's like I'm like, oh, even years later, it's like 6 years later, but that video is still clear. I still have it. And people want
Okay.
me to post it. I'll post it one day.
Yeah, guys. Yeah. So he's gonna post it. He says people are saying post that video. We wanna see the video. We wanna see
Ah,
that beating. Let's do a shout out here. I see First University. They say shout out to the champ. Big up to them. Obviously, they're huge in America,
yeah.
pushing amazing content as well. So big ups to them. Nicole Lowe, she's another South African at Oregon University. Shout out to you. Welcome. Yeah, so there's a bit of a reunion here, you know. So yeah, let's see. There's some more questions here. EAT Mitchell's salute you. Okay, so I see Coach JP from Eastern Athletics. He says, team from Mitchell's Plain salute you, King's Pista. See, Mitchell's Plain in the house, giving you a shout out. I see there's some more questions. Let me see if I can get to them. Yeah, we'll get to some of those later. Okay, cool. Anyways, yeah. So I mean, it's that's how the journey starts. So now, obviously, from progressing from wanting to get into the sport and take it serious. I've known Coach Yao Faso Amoa for many years. I mean, he's super passionate, and I mean, if you see him, he's like a definition of a strong African man, you know you. Come on, man.
Yeah.
He was also a fantastic long jumper, very disciplined, stern. He speaks clearly, he looks you in the eye. I mean, he's an amazing man, and I'm sure you learned a lot from him as well. So big ups to him. And then obviously I talked you with Coach Tabo Matividi to talk about that. So obviously you moved from wanting to get into the sport to realizing what it took for you to become one of the best youth or junior athletes. How was that transition?
Transition was pretty crazy because I mean, even when I was still starting off, like, because I mean, my coach did tell me like when I was starting, I was like 14. His coach, he was like, "Yeah, listen, I'm gonna make you SA champion." Obviously, I was like, well, SA champs are like in April, and I'm like, around about now it's like October, so I'm like, I'm still playing basketball, and I still gotta do training, and I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have to speak to like my basketball coach, obviously about training sessions and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, cool, I'll
Yeah,
manage that. So then I obviously started training, and then through December, I sacrificed my December. I was like, I always say I haven't had a December since 2014. Like I've never had a December. All the time I'm training until Christmas. After Christmas, 2 days later, I'm back at it. Even the day after New Year's, I'm back at it. Training. So I started training, and then after that, like when I was 15, that's when I went to my SA champs, my SA. I think
yeah,
I had SA schools. It was in Bloom. It was in Bloemfontein. That's when I think I
yeah,
would
yeah,
give, and Clarence was still like youngings, and they were blazing the track there. So I remember there was also this other guy called Marno April. That guy was running 10.7s under 15. So I that competition I was probably the worst competition I've ever did it. I first started in the heats because it was my first competition, big competition, pressure,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then like adapting to all that. But I mean, I was pretty much undefeated throughout the AGN meets. And I remember my first AGN meet where I jumped, like first meet, I remember before I was like, oh, coach, I was like, cause I was on the car ride with Coach Yao. I was like, oh, coach, how much do you think I'm gonna jump today? He's like, I don't know. So I tell him, I'm like, I have a feeling today I'm gonna jump at 690. He's like, you have big dreams, eh? Because at the time my PB was probably like 620 something or 633. So he's like, you have big dreams. So I'm like, hey, I know I can do it. So I'm like, sharp. So we get there to the meet. First jump, 699. I'm like, yo, we called that meeting off after that. I jumped at it. I'm like, we're going home. We're going home. And that's when I kind of saw the vision. I'm like, I can actually win nationals. Like I knew I could actually win SA nationals at the time. And then after that, I went to SA schools. SA schools, I did badly. I had my fallout. I came like fourth. And then, like the last day, Coach Shao wasn't there to help me on my run up and everything. So everything was just, I was just 15, adapting. Everything was just south. And then the next 2 weeks after that, leading up to the main essays, that's when I was like really grinding. I was making sure during Easter, I was there. I was training. And then essays came, I said, okay, came into that championship. I'm like, nah, I have goals. I need to do well in the 100. I need to win the long jump. I need to make sure both relays win. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, yeah,
I remember there was Jason Weaver. Jason Weaver also is still a big dog. So yeah,
yeah,
Jason
yeah.
was not playing games. I saw that semi-final. He dusted me. He beat me. I was like, yo, he went 11-0. I was like, at the time, my PB electronic time was like 11-3 or something like that. So I was like, yo, this guy is shifting. And then final came. So I had the long jump final first. Long jump final, first jump. I went like it was a no jump, but it was SA record. Like I was like the flag was here, and I landed here. Like I was like, yo, that's when
Yo,
like now my head is going crazy. Now I'm like, I need to get this record. I need to get this record. Second jump, bah, no jump again. But I'm like, yo, but I'm like, you can see I'm literally like edging, like I'm over that
over.
record. So I'm like, yo, I hear this pressure. I'm like, okay, let me relax it. Let me relax. Let me relax. Third jump is a charm. I jump 709, and then after that I called it because Coach Yao only wanted me to take 3 jumps because I still had the 100
Yeah,
final. He didn't want me to be exhausted. So then I mean
yeah, yeah,
I jumped 709. I think she saw. I don't know if it's. Oh yeah, no. Jason Tito was there. I think. Some of the
yeah,
top
yeah.
guys, they were like, I mean, they still talk about it that day. They're like, hey, dude, you weren't even speaking to anybody. You just jump, you'd wear your tracksuit, you'd sit in the corner and not speak to anyone. And I mean, I'm like, that's just how I am. Like when I'm in a competition mindset, I'm there to kill and go home. Just
Yeah,
handle my business. We'll talk afterwards. We're friends afterwards. But in the
yeah,
track, on the field, I'm really trying to handle my business. And then after that, I went to the 100. Now I got like a low groin injury from the long jump, but at 100, I was like, no excuse. I need to deliver here. So I'm like, I need to pull something out of somewhere because these guys are gonna run. And I knew Mikhail and Jason were gonna run because Mikhail had just like also came second at SA schools at I think, and he ran like a first time. So the final came. Mikhail just edged me out for second. So Jason won with a 10:90 something. Mikhail went 11:12. I even remember the times. Even it's like 5 years later, 6 years later, I still remember the times. He went 10:97. Mikhail went 11:12. I went 11:14. So he literally just dipped me. But that was really the beginning of a very dominant journey. And I mean, since then I haven't looked back, and I've only grown to fall in love with track even more.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I know we did the introduction where we said all your achievements in the first one, and then it cuts. First, second one, it cuts. I don't know. So I'm gonna let the people who are watching here at least, I'm gonna do it again just so that they know what's up, So obviously, Phatutshedzo Shaun Maswanganyi, he is the African Under-20 Championship 200-meter gold medalist, African Under-20 Championship 100-meter silver medalist, American Athletic Conference Championship 100-meter champion. That's a fresh one, you know what I mean? Hot out of the oven. We've got American Athletics Conference Championship 200-meter champion, SA Under-20 200-meter champion. We've got SA Under-16 long jump champion, the one you mentioned now. I don't think many people knew that one. As well as the SA Under-20 100-meter record holder. I mean, this is big, man. This is big. And then to finish it off, American OTF Men's Freshman of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, Phatutshedzo Shaun Maswanganyi.
Yeah.
They must know.
So, yeah.
They must know. All right, so I wanna get to this question, man. So obviously, just from hearing of your journey, I can hear there was always a focus. You always set goals. I'm picking that up even from a young age. You always set goals, like I want to jump this time, I want to do this. This is where I want to finish, and so on. And I think that's what has allowed you to continue. I mean, I can't think of a season where you haven't gotten better, improved your times, improved your PBs or whatever, And I mean, at this rate, man, it's quite scary, man. I mean, what a wow. We don't know where things will end up, But I mean, that focus and that planning is amazing, So I want to talk about two amazing moments, and then there's a third one. But let's start with this one. So obviously, I wanna start with this one. So obviously, you go to African Under-20 championships. It's a big one, I mean, winning a national title, cool, you've got it, you're the best in the country. But now you have to go and dominate Africa, to see. And I mean, the thing is, what people don't understand about dominating in Africa is that it's not about running fast, Hey, there's a lot of variables there. This is Africa.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Africa.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So it was a crazy experience, I think I remember I went with Luke. Luke was pretty much he's my dog. So whenever me and Luke were going there, we're like, listen, dog, we need to take 1 and 2. Like, we had a mission statement.
Yeah.
Like, we don't, I'm saying, but we all have plans to win. But we need to make sure we solidify, because there was literally only 2 of us.
Yeah.
It's not like the youth had like a couple of guys. They had Jesse Josias, they had Tabang, they had Eckhart. So they could at least take the triple. But like it was just like, hey, dog, whatever we do when you get there, we just have to make sure our foot is heard. So, I remember the first day, the 100, I mean, it was hot. So like Ivory Coast, guys, I don't know if you understand humidity and all that in there, but it was hot because we're literally by the ocean. It's way, if you look at the map, we are literally on a tropic. Like, we're on a tropic. So it's really hot there. It's, like, I remember these even like interviews, which you can actually search up, like Luke's interview or my interview or Dambile's interview. We're like in the parking lot where there's like a thin strip of tartan, and they're interviewing us. You can just see us walking around shirtless. We just have shorts. We don't even warm up with track pants there. Literally, warm up was probably like 10 minutes and you fight. You sweaty already. So, it was a different experience, just like adapting to the food, because like even the food, it was like so different to what we used to at home. The environment, the culture, the language gaps. I was literally walking around with Google Translate just to make sure I get the right stuff. I'm like, okay, poulet, because I'm speaking French now. I'm like, poulet, chicken, okay, I'm like, water. Yeah, so, it was such a big gap. And then, everything was good. And then we got there. I remember the first race was the 100-meter, and we actually had to run late. Like, literally the 100-meter heat was at like 9 in the evening. Literally, it was at 9 in the evening. It's dark. Like, it's dark. And that's literally one of the coolest times. So, you know, we're running the heat. I easily cruise my heat. Luke easily cruised his heat. We made it to the semis. And in the semis, I remember there's this other guy. His name is Adigoke, Enoch Adigoke. So he came in that competition at the 10-12 as his PB. He went to Commonwealth games. Commonwealth games. He was in the final with Kanye and the. So, you know, he's serious, this guy. His confidence level is good. You know, he means business. So I knew that, like, hey, me and Luke here, we're gonna have to work. We're gonna have to work. It's no easy dubs here, you know. So then, the semifinal, I was with Enoch, and then sometimes I like playing mind games. I'll go hard in the first 60 meters and then shut it down, whatever, you know, just so I play with people's minds. Sometimes, you know, sometimes it's good to throw people off. You know, it's like, hey, if this guy's shutting down 10-4s, 10-5s, what is he gonna do in the finals? You know, at least people thinking. So I shut it down. That guy just kept also shutting it down, and then he beat me. And then final. So it was me in lane 3, he was in lane 5, and Luke was in lane 6. And literally, I remember it was like, again, like 7, 8 in the evening now. It's hot. You know, I'm like, yo, like the environment, you can just feel the energy. Like, hey, people was like, I'm just waiting for this race because it's anyone's ball game between me, Luke, and him. You know, the gun went, first 60 meters, I'm up in front. This is when I really used to focus on having a strong start, and I didn't really have a strong finish. I just had a strong start and just try to carry it through. Pretty much like Coleman's old setup, like where he used to just get out hard and then he would fade towards the end, you know? So that's why I slowly transitioned into fixing that now. But like, I had a strong 60, so I was up in front. But when I really was supposed to be turning over and trying to finish strong, you know, Enoch just came lane 6. He just came literally edged me out the last 10 meters. And then he went 10:27, which is the championship record. I went 10:35. Luke and I actually came in at the same time, and then they gave it to me because I beat him by like 1,000th of a second or something like that. And we both went 10:35. I mean, we're happy, you know. It's a global, it's an international competition. We medaled, but then it's time for the 200 now. You know me, I always said my 200, I had to take it personally because that one I had an agenda. Because that season I was undefeated in the 200. I had not lost even a single prelim. I was 8 for 8. So I was like, yeah, here I'm serious. Here I'm not playing games. So then the heat came. I cruised the heat. I was nice. Semi-final came. I cruised the semi-final. I was nice. So now we're in the core room, and I'm speaking to Luke, and then this guy, the guy who beat me in the 100, Enoch, is like, So someone asked me, he's like, have you ran sub 21 this year? I'm like, yeah, I have. And then Enoch, he looks at me, he's like, no, you haven't. I was like, my guy, I have. And then after that, I'm like, oh, we're thinking one nyats away. Like, you're nyatsing me right now.
I'll show you.
I was like, I'll show you. I was like, I have something for you. And then, literally we got to the line. I mean, there's even pictures of me. You'll see me. I was like so serious. I'm literally like holding my waist. I'm looking at the finish line. I'm like so focused. I'm like, here I'm not playing games. And then the gun went, like, it was on your marks, set, go. Gun went, and I exploded out. I was literally up on him by the 50 meter. And by the time the curve ended, I ran off the curve. I blew my competition. And then it was literally 1 and 2 for South Africa. Me and Luke came in and we ran there was a slight headwind, but I went 20.7. I PR'd, and then Luke also went 20.9. I mean, it was like in headwind. It was like slightly hot conditions, very, very hot. But like the headwind and stuff like that. I mean, that was like the first proper competition where, I mean, I felt really special. You know what I mean? I'm like, not me. No one can take it away from me that I'm an African junior champ, you know? So just to be able to say champion, not just medalist, just champion as well. So, I mean, I still hold that dearly to my heart, and it's probably one of my favorite moments.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's what, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's all about showing up at the big competitions, you know? And I mean, that's where, I mean, all the training, the mental side of it, the physical tapering, all of that, you know, that's important. I see Loli Mahlangu says, what did the guy say after the race? Did he believe that you could run under 21?
You don't have to believe it when you can see it right there. You know, you can only just see. You didn't even say anything. I mean, you can see. You didn't even congratulate or anything, because I value you with sour when someone just drops a PB on you like that, especially if it's a way clear. I mean, because at the time I went to the competition with like a 20.81, and that was into a -1 headwind. So I already knew I was in shape. You know, I ran that attack. I already knew I was in shape. So like, if I chow you, if I tell you I'm gonna chow you and I chow you, I don't feel like I need to say anything after that, you know. But it's also kind of like, you know, if you know, disrespect me, then I'm gonna be like, oh, okay. If you're gonna play like that, then cool.
Fair
Because I
enough.
mean, I'm not gonna come at someone sideways who's not done anything to me, you know. So it's like kind of like, yeah. So it's like if you taunt me, I'm gonna taunt you too, bro.
All right, man. Ish, we've got so much to get through, man. I don't know if we're going to get through it, but let's go. So the next, important like milestone would be obviously 2020. It's crazy. 2020 is crazy, you know, because it feels like, you know, there was no COVID, you know,
Yeah,
and we're running seasons, you know, you're chowing PBs, you know, African records, what, and then there's COVID in that same year. It just feels like
yeah,
last year had 2 years. Is it me or, you know,
yeah.
it feels like
Nah, nah,
2019 was like 2 years ago.
yeah.
2020
It
was like
really,
2 years ago.
yeah, it really doesn't feel like
Yeah,
it, especially when you see how much we've really, I wouldn't say gotten past it, but like COVID doesn't really affect us as much as it did last year. It still affects us, but like
yeah,
last year
yeah.
was like bad because we were literally in the crib. We can't do
We,
anything, can't watch sports. You know, the whole world is like at a
we,
standstill. I'm like,
yeah,
what can you do? Like, and I mean, I was just happy that hey, at least we managed to progress a little bit. I mean, there's still a lot to deal with COVID, but for the most part, we were able to progress. So yeah.
yeah. So let's talk about that race, man. Obviously, oh, that championship was special, man. We saw a lot of things. I mean, Nakani Simbini clocked a 991. I know you said something
In a
about that
heat,
as well.
in a heat,
In
in
the
a
heat.
heat, in the heat. Hey, I was shocked. I was behind these blocks. I was there looking. I'm like, hey, AK looks very serious today. I'm like, I wonder what he's gonna drop. So I'm
What is he
like,
up
hey,
to?
I'm like, what is he up to? Because me, everyone knows me in the heat. Me, I'm playing around. I'm gonna jog maybe 10-5, 10-4. So I'm like, hey, AK looks serious. Hey, gun goes. Bah, he's dead. He's gone. I'm like, yo, his start is good. I see the way he transitions and how he's just pulling away from the field. I'm like, yo, sub 10. Yo, is it SA record 991? I'm like, yo, this guy is moving. I'm like, I know this guy is moving. So that's what I knew. I'm like, okay, in my head, because I remember the weekend before Asian Champs, I literally posted an IG story. I'm like, oh, this coming weekend, SA record is going. I was talking about the junior record because I knew mentally, I was at that place. I'm like, I'm breaking the SA record that weekend. No
Yeah,
maganja, by 5 by 4, I'm breaking that record that weekend. And I looked at the
yeah,
weather, it was hot. You know, there was barely any wind. I'm like, Anna, today, it's the day. You know, and then I remember like the heat went. Heat, I was with Elviano. You know, me and Elviano went. Elviano, I exploded at the start, and then literally when I got to the 60-meter mark, I shut it down. And then Elviano passed, and you went 10-2. I was like, hey, you went 10-28. I was like, hey, Usreas most today. I'm like, all right. Also, me, I need
all
to bring
right.
heat. Okay, I'm like, because I saw Eckhart also went 10-20 something in the heat. I saw Dambile
Yo,
also go 10-20 something. I'm like, yo, 3 10-2s in a day. Junior, I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, you guys are serious. I'm like, okay, sharp. Semi-final, and I'm gonna cook. I'm like, I'm gonna cook. So I got to the line. I remember Eckhart was on my right. He was in lane. No, Eckhart was in lane 5. I was in lane 6. I'm like, lucky number 6. It's Chai. So I remember before the race, just before I got on the blocks, coach, he's like, Emuna, Wula. I'm like, he's like, Wulai. I'm like, hey, that's the sign. It's the best
that's
weather for
it.
me. It's hot because I think coach Chu was checking for the heat. He was checking if there's any wind or not. He's like, there's no wind. It's gonna be legal. Get on that line, Wulai. So I'm like, all right, got to that line. I'm like, here. If I kill this guy first 60, it's gone. He's gone. So I'm like, suck. Can't win. Nah, I got out. I hit my dry face. I got up. I just started stroking my arms. I was pulling away. I don't feel anyone close to me. I'm like, I'm okay, SA record. I'm like, yeah, I'm going. Just before I cross the line, I look at the time. It was still showing a 9. I'm like, yeah, is it a 9? I crossed the line. And then it flipped to a 10-0. I'm like, yo. But I was like, it was 10-07. So I'm like, I was celebrating. I was like, nah, here. You know, I was going crazy, did my whole celebration and everything. And I was, that moment was just changing. You know it. So I cashed out that competition, and I just knew like when I had to come back to the finals, all I had to do was win. Because by then it was like colder, you know, there was a little bit of wind. There was also a headwind in the final, but I just knew after that I just had to make sure I win the title just to solidify that weekend. And you know, it was crazy because what also pushed me to break the SA record in the 100 was the 200, because the 200 I bombed out. Me
Yeah,
and Dambile were like cozy in the 200. The heats went 20.5, 20.5. slight headwind as well. And then the final, I don't know, I just didn't run my race well. I didn't execute, and I went like 20.6. And then I came third. So I was like, hey, this 100, it's personal to me. I need to handle my
It's
business,
personal.
because I knew, I'm like, if they're picking teams, they look at consistency. So I'm like, yeah, I just need to make sure I assert my dominance. And then I came in, I handled my business in the 100 and handled it well. The competition was good because, Dambile Eckhart was literally like side by side me. So I knew that I know it's going to be serious here. And then obviously I aged them out. And I mean, it was a race. It was a race to remember.
Hey, race to remember, the celebration. It was like just, it was like just that. It was just that perfect moment, man. I don't know if those who haven't seen it, guys, do yourself a flavor. Do yourself a flavor. And go check it out. I'm sure you've vlogged somewhere. If not, you can check it out on our YouTube, Backtrack YouTube as well. Phatutshedzo.
It's also on my Instagram. I think it's also my page. It's on my page. The race is on my page.
Yeah. It should be on your page. Yeah, so that'll be easy. Oh, amazing moment. Just it was good, man. It was special. I've seen so many of these records, like
Life Giant,
Yo, I'm telling you, man. I feel like I read it myself. I'm like, and the whole South Africa is, man. So big up to those memories. Like I always say, like I don't think people realize, or they do realize. But I mean, I think as an athlete, what you must understand is that when you guys do stuff like that, the amount of joy. I mean, that's what sport is about. Sport is about those moments, that defy time. They change, like if you went there, where the heck were you? You know what I mean? You missed out on history, and it's special. And I mean, it's something that is gonna live on in our memories forever. When somebody beats your record one day, if ever, we have to relive yours to see, you know what I mean? So it's always engraved in our hearts for a long time. So thanks for those memories, man. Thank you very much.
And I'm thanking you guys for capturing it, because I mean, Backtrack, I won't even lie, like I'm missing Backtrack because I hear, hey guys, you have to ponder your races here. You have to go look. You're like, hey, did ESPN catch the race? Do my teammates bring the video camera? Now here I'm busy trying to hustle, trying to make sure someone got the right angle, right footage, right camera quality. I mean, for the most part, I'm glad at least, the 9.8 and the 19.9 was captured at least on ESPN. Other than that, if it was a regular home meet, I want a cell phone, guys. So I'm missing Backtrack for the most part. I always say, hey guys, I miss Backtrack. Hey guys in SA who are still running, be grateful for the Backtrack, because listen, anywhere else in the world, there's no such thing as Backtrack like that. Like I tell you now, there's no organization like Backtrack. Like I'm not even saying this just to pump for nothing, guys, but like literally when you see what Backtrack is doing in SA, like the way they like publish the videos, make sure like everyone is like in tune, watching and everything, is something to be grateful for, because you don't really have support like that, or like videographers like that here. You literally have to find someone to capture videos for you. If it's not a big meet, you're gonna have to bet that ESPN is gonna post that race. Otherwise, chief. Literally, it's over. So like literally, just shout out to you guys again, because I feel like you guys sometimes you don't get the recognition you're supposed to. I feel like you guys should be popping even more than what you are now, but I'm grateful for everything.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. Big ups. Thanks for that shout out. Thanks for that, vote of confidence. But I mean, man, like, we said it, by athletes, for athletes, and the thing is, I think what separates us from a lot of the guys, I mean, anybody can film, is that, we understand the sport, we understand the passion, what people need to see, what the world needs to see, you know what I mean? So when you put out a video of your time, when they watch, there's no doubt of, okay, this guy did it. Immediately the world can see, like if the guys in America watch them, like, hey man, you heard about this kicker named Peru? Peru. It's Shaun. I think it's Shaun Maswanganyi. This kid is for real. You know what I mean? So that's what it's about, and I mean, I know Jumpers World took that video, they shared it to like hundreds and thousands of people or whatever, so it's and I mean, that's for real. That's what people need to see so that they can believe. Because, there's this thing, man, where people think that the times in Africa are not
always,
legit,
always. Even every YouTube video, every YouTube video I see, like I read
Yeah,
comments sometimes. I'm like, hey, you hear these guys talking, and they're like, I know he's from Africa. We're not sure. We're not too
yeah,
sure
yeah,
with the timing and stuff like that. I'm like,
yeah.
I've done it in 3 countries. I've ran fast in 3 countries. I've ran fast in Ivory Coast, America, South Africa. My times correlate. Like, how much more hitting can you do? Like, the fact that I ran in 3 countries, they correlate different states. I'm like, what
You
is
know?
there to be said? So I'm like, hey,
Yeah,
but
exactly. It's like we have to prove, almost like Akani runs a 9 year, they want to
yeah,
see if he'll do it there. Then he
yeah.
chows Gatlin and then okay. Maybe it's
No,
true.
maybe it's
He-
true. Maybe, I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
guys,
You know,
come
wait for
on.
Nicky to run some 44 here. They want to see it that side. And what does he do?
Mm.
He does it
He
again.
does it
You did
again.
it again. So, so South Africans, when you run those times, you can believe it's the truth. Is the truth.
Yeah.
Don't even in Africa, somebody runs fast in Africa, you always wonder,
Mm.
what is this? And they do it again. So to the world, so Africa hey guys, we take our athletics serious. We don't cheat.
Yeah.
We make
We
sure that the
legit.
guys have legit timing and they're running it. So hey, pass
Yeah.
up, yo.
Yeah.
So let's move over to we're gonna wrap it up with this because I think we've been at it for a while.
Mm.
The most recent, obviously, at the American OTF Championships. It's been a brilliant season. Let's be honest. There's 10-0-4s. It's just the wind, and I know in America, obviously, with the wind, I don't know. Maybe you can explain what they do. Sometimes they start this side, sometimes they start the other side. But then obviously take that away, whatever. To run that magic, that's magic stuff, to
Yeah.
in one day, what you did to run the 100 sub 10, not only sub 10, that's a 987, it's like, hey, it's not a, no, just made it in,
Yeah.
it's convincing, like
Yeah.
it's convincing, and it shows it's there and you can do it, Let's look at Gift ran a wind aided 994. A few weeks later, I ran a legal 994.
Mm.
I'm going to leave it at that. So,
Yeah.
987, 1993. Come on, man. Run us through that. What's going on?
So it was crazy because that competition, I came in. I'm still struggling from like my hamstring. I have like a hamstring injury, like since the LSU meet. So I really been trying to manage that well. Some days I've been able to finish practice, but for the most part, I've been really trying to get through the workouts and see where I am in terms of like strength and performance. I came into a competition. I'm like, it's a championship, whether I like it or not. It didn't feel like it, especially when I was walking on the track. The track was very hard. It was like very hard Mondo, like old Mondo, worn out.
Yeah.
But like even when you walk, you can hear the tap, you can hear the sound. It's like, hey man, is this Tor or is this, charted or what? So I remember I was a little negative towards the first day when we were on it. I was on Instagram live and I was like spazzing, I was with my teammates going crazy and whatever the first day we were feeling the track. And then the next day I slept, I woke up, I was like, yeah, whether I like it or not, I need to do something special this competition, and I
Yeah.
knew it was going to be hot. There was not going to be any rain. So I knew, I'm like, nah, here, this track is Mondo. So it's going to give me a good response where, whether you like it or not, it may be hard, but just make sure I stay hydrated. I stay making sure that like, I don't strain myself too much in the warm up so I can still perform. The heat came.
Yeah.
I remember the heat came. So they flipped the track, guys, because they go where the wind direction is favored. So if the wind direction is favored from right to left, obviously we're going to start on the other side of the track and finish on the other, or like where you normally originate, or you traditionally start the 100, because the wind is blowing that direction.
Did you have to adjust to that? Did you find it a bit weird in the beginning, or was it?
Yeah, I remember. It was weird because my first race was actually at obviously my home track, and we were running the other way. So I remember it felt weird. I'm like, mentally it feels weird, but you're like, hey, at the end of the day, I need to run and win, so I'm gonna do it anyways. And then now through time, like 2-3 races in, you're like, now you get used to it. Now it's like, oh, it's just another thing. So yeah, and then obviously the heat came. It was like that day was just not going well, pretty much. The warming up area was like confusing and stuff like that. So I'm like, hey, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do here. So actually, I started off with the 200. The 200 was the first event. The 200 came, and I think I posted the 200 on my Instagram story. I was looking easy, and I came out the blocks. And I literally I didn't even have the right push because I didn't have that feeling of anxiety or adrenaline rush, just to, because normally you get that feeling before a race. I didn't have it. I was like, hey, today's just another day, I guess, business as usual. So I get out, I look where I am in the curve. I'm like, I'm too close to these guys. Let me start separating. I explode out the curve. And then literally after like I passed the curve, I'm like, okay, let me shut it down. And then I shut it down and I went like 20.8. That was a slight headwind. But I was like, okay, I'm into the finals. And then finals, I should get a good lane, either 4 or 6, because like 2 guys ran faster than me. They went 20.64 and 20.7 something. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter to me. And then finals, I got lane 6. And then the 100 was the next day. The 100 heat was the next day. So it was Thursday, the 200. No, Friday, 200 heat, 200 heat. Saturday, 100-meter heat. Sunday, 4x1, 100-meter heat final and 200-meter final. So we ran 2 races of each. So I was like, okay. And they were literally like an hour back to back. So the 4x1 was at this time at like 1 o'clock. And no, 1:30, and then 2:30 will be like the 200 heat, and then 3:20 or something like 40 minutes later was the 200-meter final. So it was literally like back to back. It was busy. So I mean, it's hard, I'm making sure that I have to stay hydrated and stuff like that. So yeah, the 100-meter came, and then I didn't have the best start, but I finished strong. And I dipped too early because I didn't see where the finish line was. I just started leaning too early. I started looking right because I wanted to see what the time was, but there was no timer there. So I thought I ran some fast time. I mean, I went 10:04 or 10:05, but I was like, so I was looking at the board, and then 10:05, I was mad, and then the wind was like plus 2.3 or something like that. So I'm like, and I knew because like I didn't really execute that race. I'm like, it's fine. Final, I just need to go crazy. And then the 200-meter, and then we had the 4x1. The 4x1, we played it safe. We were pretty much chilling that thing. We jogged it 39.4, and then an hour later, I was like, okay, the 100-meter, I need to make sure I'm ready for you because I need to do something special because I have fast teammates. My teammates are not scrubs. I can tell you that. Those guys move. So I can't. There's no free dubs. I can practice. There's no free meals. There's no free wins. You work. So I knew that this 100 final, I need to make sure I run. It's a championship with these guys. So 100 came, final came. I was so tired. I was drained. And like, I don't know if I still have pre-race footage of it, but like, I just literally, I'm walking to the finish line. People always say I have this lazy walk. So I'm walking to the starting line. I'm holding my tape. I'm wearing my tracksuit, and I'm like, yeah, it's hot. Like, it's hot. Like, I think it was like probably like 34 degrees. It's quite humid. So I'm like, I need to make sure I do something. So there I'm like lane 5. I know there's fast guys everywhere. Literally, there was only one guy who was not UH. He was lane 1. The ESPN commentator was even like, Jahil Montgomery, our prayers are with you. So then, and then I got to the finish line. I mean, so I mean, it was like, it's like Den of Cougars, So the starter said set. I blacked out. I literally blacked out. I'm like, I'm getting out first. Like, I'm getting out the blocks. I'm gonna have a good start, and I'm gonna kill the field. Gun went, exploded out the blocks. I was 3 strides. I was the first out the block, but I was the last person to step. When I was looking at that video, I was the first person to push out the blocks, but I was the last person to step. And by my 3rd step, I was already up on everyone. Then I knew I had a good start. I knew I executed that start.
Yeah.
Technically, I executed. That was probably my best executed start. Within 4 strides in, I'm like, I already have like a yard of people. And I'm like, okay, now this is my race. I literally, all I saw was the finish line. And I knew I'm just going to run past the finish line. I'm not even going to dip or anything. So I just ran. I just kept running. I kept running. And then I realized the race was over. And I'm like, that's a gap. I know I at least put like 2 meters on the next person. Then I looked. And then I heard the crowd was going crazy because obviously I blew the field out. Then I was waiting for the time. Then the time said 9:87. The stadium was exploding and everything was crazy. And then obviously they saw the win too. But they were like, hey, man, regardless, if that race had a +1 win, that would have still been like a 990 low. So, that boosted my confidence. That really made me believe in myself. Stadium exploded with energy. And so I mean, and then obviously I had to get off the track quickly, get ready for the 200. I had to go to the tent, get a massage quickly, and then came back for the 200. 40 minutes later, I didn't even warm up again for the 200. I literally didn't even do a stride. I was walking there. I was track pants. I was wearing my gray shirt. I was like, hey, time to do it again. Time to do something special again. So I remember Carl came to me. He was like I wouldn't say he was swearing, but he was like saying, you go out there and you run this 19 on them. And I'm like, all right, I got you, coach. I went there. You know, even that race, technically, I did not execute that race. If anyone ever saw my race and looked at it slow motion, the 100 I executed to the T. The 200 I didn't really execute. I was just running the 200 at that point. I was just like, hey, I'm tired. It's hot, but I
Tired.
want to win. I want to win. So, you know, I got to the line. I didn't even do a proper push. Like, I have the video. Like, you literally see me. I'd go in my block, set position. I'd push one step, and then I'd be like, all right, okay. Came back to the blocks. You know, they gave me a little introduction. I did my queen wave, and then got to the blocks. I was like, all right, time to make sure. And I knew, like, got to the blocks, started set, go. Within 4 strides, I was literally up on the guy in lane 7. I was literally passing him. I was like, here. I'm like, here, I'm going fast. I'm moving here. I went, executed. The first part I executed, the part where you transition out the curve, I didn't execute that well. And then I kind of got to a straight. The straight, I was just putting my feet down quickly, just making sure I got turnover because I knew that momentum was going to carry me through the finish line. I finished off strong. I knew I blew the field out, and I probably had like 3-4 meters on the next best person there. And then I was like, nah, that one is a 19. I was so calm. I wouldn't say I shut it down the last 10 meters. They say I shut it down. I'm like, I was tired. My legs were heavy. My legs are heavy. It looks like I shut it down, but my legs were heavy. So then, I mean, I always say that, like, you know, they always say there's wind, né? And I mean, the 200, you have to take wind on the curve. So you make sure that you still stay in your line. You take a lot of wind in the curve, and the wind only really helps you in the straight. So, I mean, I went 1993, and I was excited, and I was yelling and everything. And I mean, that was, like, performance-wise, obviously, technically, that was probably one of my best championships I've had. And, you know, for me to do that in such a short space of time, to double up, really triple, because I mean, I went hour 4x1 hour, 144 minutes, 40 minutes, 200. It really was a confidence boost, and I believe more in myself, and I know what to expect from my body, what to do in the next coming couple of weeks, which are really important.
Sheesh. Yeah, man, absolutely. I see Maputi Africa saying, yay! I see
Yeah.
Karabo Kumalo saying, much love from SAPMB in the building. Super B guy says, a bright future. Maputi Africa says, I know you got a brilliant track career ahead, but you are going to make an exceptional commentator. I don't know, but I don't know. You'll explain about that. But I see here the king himself. That's from Robin Lee Hendricks. And then I see Bake 9 says, please do the 18 MOE celebration next.
Yeah.
And then I see where is Maurice's Nutties this week. Gonna see some damage from Shaun for sure. Yeah, man. I think at the end of the day, man, you know, talking about the celebration and you know, I think one of the most exciting things about you is that I think you carry the energy of a champion, you know, and it's and I mean, not everybody can do it, guys. It's hard, this thing, because you have to win first. I always tell you, I always say, before you can whip out this celebration, you know, first have to win, you know. So there's a lot of work before you get into that celebration and people getting to see you express your joy and your love for the sport, you know. But I mean, like I keep saying, man, you've got that energy that it draws the whole world. People who watch you want to see you run. They want to see you win, you know, because they know after a win comes something exciting, you know. It's like a reward. There's a reward for seeing you win. And keep that energy, man. Keep that energy. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, your times are fast. It's out of this world. And your personality mixed with it, man, we're talking about like big stuff, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I watch a lot of these sport things, also, like, you know, like The Last Dance, Michael Jordan, and you get to see his mentality and how intense he is as a human being. You know, it's quite crazy and exciting. And I think you've got something there. I don't want to put too much on you, player. I don't want to put too much on you. But I mean, what I'm saying is that there's something special. Everybody can see it, and keep at that, you know. So we're gonna wrap it up. A message, man. If you have a message to people all over the world who are supporting you and watching you, and, you know, wanting to see you shine and so on, what do you got to say to them?
I mean, guys, it's simple. You know, there's no secret formula to success and doing well. You know, really, whatever you're passionate about, you know, just put in the hours, put in the rewards, and you know, it doesn't, you know, sometimes it takes long to see what you're really good in. You know, for the most part, it took me 14 years. I mean, it was like right there in front of my eyes, but I never really saw it. Like I never saw a vision like that. And who would have thought, you know, a couple of years down the line, you know, I would be where I am. And I'm always grateful for my support systems. That's one thing I can say about me. Like I never forget my roots. Always everyone like along the road, you know, I remember every person. I'm always grateful. I still try to keep contact and just remember that whatever you do, it essentially affects everyone around you. So always aspire to inspire because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you know, everyone has a purpose. Everyone has their own, you know, ambition. Everyone has their own goals. Everyone needs to execute, you know, and like whatever thing in regards to life, you know. It may not be sports, maybe academics, maybe cultural stuff, maybe arts, culture, whatever, you know. But at the end of the day, just handle your guys' business, you know. Don't let anyone step on your dreams because if I let anyone step on my dreams, I wouldn't be where I was. You know, it's really about believing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I think with that, man, on that note, on that powerful, inspirational note, we're gonna wrap it up, man. I think from our side, I just wanna say thanks for being yourself, man, because it's you through being yourself, man. You've drawn a lot of people towards watching South African athletics, putting some respect on our name here in South Africa as well as in Africa. You know, I know Africa
Hmm.
is always also like pushing and behind you. And yeah, I think there's so much more to come this year, man. And I mean, if you don't add anything else to this amazing season, which I believe you will, man, you can look back and be like, man, I did it. You know, I did what not many people were able to do. But we know there's a few other goals that you might be wanting to achieve this year and so on. And there's
Hmm.
a lot of other special things that are going to go on. But man, you know, there's no pressure. You just go out there, keep enjoying yourself. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We know what you want, but it's going to happen.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, man. And to everybody who's been watching, do you want to say a last goodbye and then we're going to wrap it up? All right. Thanks, Chezo. You can say goodbye and then we're going to wrap it up.
All right. Thanks for having me, Timba. Appreciate it.
Cool, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks for everybody for watching, guys. We really appreciate you. You know, it's a bit long, but I hope you guys were entertained and enjoyed this chat with Phatutshedzo, Shaun Maswanganyi, a sensation. So much to give, and we're still looking out for so much more. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you guys again soon. Take care and God bless. Nda.
Yeah.
Cheers, brother. Cheers, guys.